I need you to lean in and listen very closely, because the picture of old age you've been sold, the one featuring pristine beaches, endless golfing, and total relaxation, is perhaps the biggest, most emotionally devastating lie of modern life, and almost no financial guru or life coach dares to talk about it. We've been focusing solely on accumulating massive amounts of money, believing that financial stability is the finish line. But what if I told you that the people who followed that plan perfectly are often the ones sitting alone, feeling the most crippling regret and despair because they overlooked the single most vital asset needed for a truly golden age? This secret, which fundamentally changes how you view your last decades, is so shocking and counterintuitive that it flips the standard retirement checklist on its head, revealing that your greatest risk isn't running out of money, but running out of something far more precious and irreplaceable. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to dive into this deep, uncomfortable truth with you all today, because this isn't about budgeting for a new car. This is about safeguarding your very soul decades before you even hit retirement age. We are taught from our first job to contribute to a 401k, to maximize our savings rate, and to watch that number grow, treating it as the ultimate scoreboard of success, believing implicitly that a large enough nest egg is the antidote to every possible future worry. Society tells us, just achieve financial freedom and everything will sort itself out naturally, promoting a dangerously simplistic view of human flourishing that ignores the complex needs of the human psyche once the routine of work suddenly vanishes. We've all seen the charts, compound interest graphs soaring high, models projecting sustainable withdrawal rates, and calculators spitting out the magical number you need to hit before you can finally stop working and start living, promising a stress-free existence where the biggest decision is deciding where to travel next. This obsession with the purely quantitative aspect of retirement, focusing entirely on the dollars and cents, overshadows the profound qualitative shifts that occur when a person's primary source of structure, identity, and social interaction is abruptly removed, leaving a gaping void that no amount of money can possibly fill. Think about it. For 30 or 40 years, your identity has been inextricably linked to your profession. You were a CEO, an engineer, a teacher, or a doctor, and every Monday morning you had a mission, a place to go, and a team to rely on, providing a consistent sense of purpose that reinforced your self-worth. Then, the alarm clock stops ringing, the emails stop coming, and the phone stops ringing with urgent requests. And while the freedom initially feels exhilarating, within 6 months, the profound silence becomes deafening, replaced by the terrifying question, who am I now if I'm not doing that? The shocking secret that nobody tells you is that this sudden existential identity crisis, this massive drop in perceived relevance, kills people faster than any poor investment decision ever could, leading to spikes in depression, anxiety, and a rapid decline in cognitive health among newly retired individuals who followed the money blueprint flawlessly. They achieved the dream, they bought the house, they secured the portfolio, yet they find themselves adrift, grappling with the crushing realization that they exchanged their most valuable asset, their intrinsic sense of contribution, for a balance sheet that feels meaningless without a structure to support their daily lives. I want us to fundamentally shift our focus away from solely measuring financial capital, FC, and start rigorously measuring something I call meaning capital, MC, and relationship capital, RC, because these are the currencies that truly determine the richness of your later years, far surpassing the utility of cash when you are feeling isolated. If you retire with $10 million but zero meaning capital, you are, by definition, poorer than someone who retired modestly but has a vibrant, active role in their community and a deep, fulfilling sense of purpose that drives them out of bed every single morning. The greatest misconception about old age is that it's a time to retreat, to slow down, and to finally take a break from the world, when in reality, the human brain thrives on complexity and challenge well into its 90s, and starvation of intellectual and social engagement leads directly to decay. We must understand that purpose is not a luxury reserved for the young and working. It is the vital oxygen of the aging brain, and failing to actively construct a new purpose before retirement day arrives is like deciding to run a marathon without training your heart. Let me tell you a quick story about my neighbor. We'll call him Mr. Thompson, a man who worked tirelessly as an executive for 45 years, achieving every financial milestone society sets out, securing a truly staggering portfolio that would allow him to live like a king indefinitely. He retired at 62, bought the convertible, and moved to a beautiful waterfront condo. But within 2 years, he had lost his spark, constantly complaining of boredom and restlessness, spending his days passively watching television because the routine of unstructured freedom felt suffocating. The tragic twist came when Mr. Thompson, despite his incredible wealth, started experiencing severe health issues that doctors attributed primarily to chronic stress and depression rooted in his sense of uselessness, a shocking revelation considering he had no financial worries whatsoever. He had meticulously planned his money, but he had catastrophically failed to plan his life structure beyond the paycheck, demonstrating vividly that financial freedom, when achieved without meaning capital, often leads straight to a gilded cage of existential anxiety. He confided in me once through tears that he missed the problem-solving, the stress of deadlines, and the feeling that his opinions genuinely mattered in a boardroom, admitting that his vast estate felt like a cruel joke because he had sacrificed the very essence of his identity to acquire it. This isn't a rare case. This pattern of sudden decline in financially secure retirees is an epidemic that is rarely discussed because it challenges the core narrative of what success in life truly looks like and exposes the hollowness of purely materialistic goals. So, how do we fix this before it's too late? The solution starts today, right now, by prioritizing investments in what I call active legacy projects, ALP, rather than just passive index funds, meaning you must deliberately cultivate activities and relationships that will generate meaning and relevance decades into the future. An active legacy project could be volunteering your professional skills, starting a mentorship program, writing a book based on your expertise, or simply becoming the designated family historian. Tasks that require intellectual effort and social interaction. This requires a mental reframing. Instead of viewing retirement as the end of working, view it as the beginning of your most important phase of contribution, where you finally have the time freedom to dedicate your accumulated wisdom, not just your capital, to causes and people you deeply care about. This proactive cultivation of new roles is the only real insurance policy against the terrifying emotional vacuum that awaits those who only planned for financial survival. But the secrets don't stop there, because even financially, we're doing things backward, falling for the second great lie of old age, which concerns the shocking psychological impact of running down your savings an issue of momentum rather than simple arithmetic. Conventional advice tells us to spend down our principal slowly, relying on a 4% withdrawal rate. But psychologically, watching that principal balance shrink year after year, no matter how sustainable, generates profound fear and scarcity mindset in older individuals. The financial secret here is embracing the concept of reverse momentum investing, which argues that your greatest psychological comfort comes not from a static nest egg, but from maximizing your passive income streams to cover 100% of your expenses, ensuring the principal never has to be touched. We should be optimizing our portfolios not just for growth, but for consistent, reliable cash flow that reinforces the feeling of continuous abundance, thereby mitigating the deep-seated fear of eventual impoverishment that plagues many wealthy retirees. Imagine the psychological difference. In scenario A, your total net worth decreases by $50,000 every year as you withdraw from the principal, constantly reminding you that you are running a finite race, generating persistent background anxiety about market corrections. In scenario B, your investment income reliably covers all your expenses, and your principal either stays level or even continues to grow modestly, creating a feeling of security and infinite resourcefulness, even if the total wealth is exactly the same as scenario A. It's all about protecting that emotional state of mind, friends, because aging requires huge psychological reserves to cope with health challenges and loss, and constantly worrying about whether your money will last completely depletes those reserves, ironically, leading to poorer health outcomes. The goal is financial invincibility, where the monthly statements bring joy and security, not a recurring, subtle sense of impending doom. Now, let's talk about relationship capital, RC, arguably the most neglected and catastrophic failure point in the retirement plan of highly driven, career-focused individuals. Loneliness. I'm not just talking about missing dinner parties. I'm talking about the scientific consensus that chronic social isolation is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day and is a powerful predictor of early mortality, exceeding risks associated with obesity or lack of exercise. The shocking reality is that many successful professionals, due to decades of relentless work travel and prioritization of career growth over community building, find themselves at retirement age with a handful of transactional relationships and a severely strained or broken relationship with their immediate family. They suddenly have all the time in the world, but nobody meaningful to share it with, because true, deep connection requires consistent investment and presence long before the retirement party banner is taken down. This means that today, your time spent truly listening to your spouse, attending your children's events, or cultivating deep friendships outside of work is arguably a more critical investment in your future longevity and happiness than optimizing that last quarter point of returns in your portfolio. If you don't invest in relationship capital now, expecting it to suddenly materialize when you have free time is a naive and extremely dangerous gamble, leading to profound emotional isolation. The regret that haunts many elders is not about the money they didn't make, but the moments they missed, the conversations they postponed, and the emotional distance they allowed to fester in the pursuit of more career success. A distance that money absolutely cannot buy back or repair when the clock runs out. We need to be ruthless about prioritizing people over projects at least some of the time, viewing it as crucial preventative medicine for the soul. So, here is your immediate action plan, your homework starting this week. First, schedule a deep dive into your portfolio solely focused on maximizing reliable cash flow, shifting the focus from net worth growth to income certainty. Second, identify 2 new meaning capital projects, things that utilize your unique skills, contribute value, and require weekly interaction with other humans, and commit to them starting next month. Third, and perhaps most critically for your long-term emotional health, identify one strained or neglected core relationship in your life, whether with a child, a sibling, or a close friend, and make a genuine, sustained effort this quarter to bridge that gap, not with money, but with sincere, uninterrupted presence and attention. Do not wait for retirement to try and mend fences. True intimacy takes years to rebuild. The greatest secret to facing old age with joy, sahabat, is realizing that the destination is not financial independence itself, but rather the intentional cultivation of independence in identity, meaning, and relationship, using your wealth merely as a tool to facilitate those deeper pursuits. Don't wait until you've lost your main purpose to desperately start searching for a replacement. Build the replacement now, while your energy and relevance are high. It is time to stop viewing the last phase of life as a winding down and start seeing it as the grand culmination, the ultimate opportunity to deploy your accumulated wisdom and expertise in ways that matter most, leaving an emotional legacy far richer than any stock certificate or bond portfolio could ever represent. The tragedy is not poverty. The tragedy is the wealthy person who finds themselves rich in dollars, but bankrupt in purpose and connection. I hope this has been a massive, necessary wake-up call for you all, because the narrative we are sold about aging is fundamentally incomplete and dangerously misleading, potentially setting us up for profound emotional failure decades down the line if we don't adjust our focus immediately. Your future self is desperately relying on the decisions you make today regarding your meaning capital, not just your 401k contribution rate. This isn't just about avoiding a sad retirement. This is about ensuring your entire life is structured around genuine contribution and connection, making every day feel purposeful and vibrant, regardless of whether you are clocking in or lounging on a beach. Remember, the true golden years are not defined by the absence of work, but by the relentless pursuit of meaningful engagement with the world around you. The clock is ticking, not necessarily on your funds, but on your ability to build these deeper, more meaningful foundations. Will you make the radical shifts necessary today to guarantee not just financial freedom, but true emotional and spiritual longevity? The choice, as always, is entirely in your hands, but the time to act is definitely not tomorrow. It is now, while you still have the energetic momentum to build a powerful new identity. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with me through this deep, uncomfortable truth. If this video helped you rethink your priorities or made you realize the importance of meaning capital, please give it a massive thumbs up so we can spread this crucial message to more people who are stuck in the conventional retirement trap. Let me know in the comments below. What is one meaning capital project you are going to start this month? And remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into the secrets of a truly fulfilling life. Share this with anyone who needs a serious perspective shift on their longevity secrets. I'll catch you in the next video.